Hello everyone. It's been a long time since I've done one of these videos. I think the last one got 20 views and yeah, I just figured nobody's really interested. But I figure I'll do like maybe one or two more depending on how this goes. If I get 30 views, I'll consider it like a viral video. Anyway, um, I like old drink books and there's a wonderful website. It's called the EUVS Vintage Cocktail Books. Wonderful, wonderful resource for things uh, like old drink manuals and whatnot. Um, there's a few of them that are really intriguing because they lead you down a historical rabbit hole. Just because some of the names they mention or some of the places they mention, then you look them up and you go a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further, and you find out amazing things. And it's all tied to drinks. So what could be more fun than that? Um, so the drink I'm going to be talking about today is in a wonderful manual, Barflies and Cocktails. It was printed in 1927 from Harry's Bar in Paris. You got to remember, this is in the 1927. U.S. was awash in prohibition. Um, and what started this is the book was dedicated to a person called O. McIntyre, founder of the IBF, which we'll get to in a second. And I thought, well, who is this person? Well, it turns out O. McIntyre was one of the biggest newspaper columnists in the U.S. Um, for the New York Times, I believe. He wrote an article day by day in New York, um, and he wrote a couple of books. They're not in print, and you can't find them digitally either. Um, and if you ask most people, like I never heard of him before, they wouldn't know who he was, even though he was a very, very, very remarkable man. Died unfortunately pretty young. Um, was just a gifted writer. I found one of his books, The Big Town. Like I said, it's out of print. I found it for $50, and I consider myself lucky for finding it because, yeah, it usually goes for a lot more. Um, and he writes about people, that were kind of like well known back in the day. And it's interesting reading this and seeing how he's talks about everyday life, and it's just very, very intriguing. But one of the things that he did was he worked with Harry McElhone, who owned Harry's Bar in Paris, um, and he founded what was called the IBF, International Barflies Association. Had a lot of big names in it and stuff, and uh, even had a theme song. Maybe one of my 20 or so viewers, is that going to focus? Can uh, play that for me. Um, and it was just this like society of people who like to have a good drink. Um, one of the things that's fun about this book is that the recipes are all in proportions rather than like a half ounce of this or that. It's like one third, one sixth, um, which makes it kind of fun because it makes it very easy just off a glance. Like, what if you like this drink so much you want to make a picture of them to send out to your friends? So that makes it interesting. So in the back of this, after all the regular drinks, in the back, there's this like blurb from this other guy who authored who was in the book. Um, Wrote about just drinks that some of the founding members of the IBF, the um, rules of the IBF, um, they had a cool little lapel. You can find the little lapel pins online, but they're like $1,000. So I'm not going to buy one anytime soon. Um, he um, he wrote about how all these people contributed a drink, And what the drink that O.O. McIntyre um, mentioned was the Cosmopolitan. Now you think Cosmo. Now you have the vodka cranberry type drink. This is not one. This is a very powerful drink. It's 1/6 part each, or just like one part each. And before I get into the drink, let's talk about that. So it's got 6 parts, and each is 1/6. So like, oh my God, what is all this? So if you like look at 2 ounces divided by 6 parts, then it's like one third ounce is would be 1/6, or 2/3 ounce. I'm sorry, would be 1/6. Um, the thing about the thing about that is you don't find those jiggers very handy. The 1/3, 2/3 jiggers, although they are you can find them, and they were a lot more prevalent in the earlier bar days because the liquor was a total of 2 ounces in a drink, which I kind of like because you can make more drinks that way without getting totally hammered. So let's talk a little bit about the Cosmopolitan. First off, it's got 1/6 Scotch. I'm using Talisker here. I really wish I had like Johnny Walker Black, but I don't. This is the only Scotch I got in the house. Um, and then it's 1/6 part Irish whiskey. Um, I got this on sale somewhere. It's not good. It's not bad. It's okay. Um, 1/3 part. Oh, where's the rest of my bottles? Hold on a second. 1/3 part or 1/6 part vodka. Here's a kind of a harder ingredient to find. 1/6 part Swedish punch. Now I make my own. It's made from Batavia, Iraq, which is this fermented red fermented red rice rum kind of stuff, mixed with lemon and a strong tea. You can find this. I think the same company that makes this also makes a Swedish punch, and I think there's another company called by the by the Dutch that makes it. So you can find it. It's kind of medium hard to find. And 1/6 part Swedish punch, and then 1/6 part both sweet vermouth and dry vermouth. I made a change with mine because I don't have any. Uh, I don't want to open up a new bottle of vermouth, uh, so I used a rosé vermouth, which is kind of splits the difference between the two. So I think it's like an okay substitution. But if you're out and about and you can find this vermouth, this is Pequill's, um, excuse me, sweet vermouth. It is absolutely dreamy, dreamy stuff. Kind of hard to find. Now I wish I could find the Perucci. That's like really dreamy stuff, but I haven't been able to find that in some time. So anyway, excuse me. It doesn't mention what to build this in. You could probably make it up in a cocktail glass. I'm gonna like build it in a rocks glass with a couple of big ice cubes. Doesn't mention the garnish. Um, so I'm going to skip that for now. But I would say probably with the Swedish punch, a lemon slice. Now we talked about that it's 1/6, 1/6, 1/6, 1/6. So how do you measure that? Well, if you swap to metric measurements, it makes it easy because we know that 60 milliliters is is 2 ounces. So divide that by 6, it's like 10 milliliters each. You can find 10 milliliter metric jiggers very easily. Um, they're kind of all over the place, so they're not hard to find. So it just makes it easier, man. If you want to use like regular ones, and it's like 1/3, 2/3, 1/3 an ounce is 2 teaspoons. Yeah, yeah. If you measure that out and you're using water, make sure to like to um, to kind of swipe over the measuring spoon, because if you don't, the water builds the surface tension will build a little hump and it'll throw your measurements off. So anyway, it's just one part. You wouldn't even have to do the 1/6. You could make it half ounce for each ingredient. Put you like at a 3 ounce drink, and this is a very powerful drink. It's nothing but high tension booze, so you can really get into a bind pretty quick on this. So that's why I'm going to go with the original 2 ounce total booze, and using the metric thing. So it's just like 10 milliliters each. So I went ahead and poured this all out. As you can see, I don't wind up with a big giant drink, especially if you don't wind up liking it. So I'm going to put some ice in here, and a couple other books that are really good for historical stuff that really are just a lot of fun. Um, are the Around the World with Jigger and Fort. I think it was very first published in '39 by Charles Baker, and he lived life. The other good one is this one, again off the EUVS website, the Waldorf Bar Book. Um, there's some modern ones that are pretty good. Uh, Dan High, uh, vintage uh, uh, vintage cocktails and or classic cocktails and vintage spirits. It's a very good um, excuse me. It's a uh, very good book. So is if you're starting off and you want like more drink knowledge, there's a very good book by Jeff Morgenthaler, the Bar Book. Excellent starter resource. Anything by Elemental Mixology, also very good. Death and Company, there is good, but they don't have that same panache that the older books have, especially the Gentleman's Guide, the Charles Baker book. That book is absolutely phenomenal. And if I get more than 20 views, maybe I'll do another one because there's a drink in there. I'd like to talk about the Cunnavarca special, I think, or the Hotel Cunnavarca, and the other one is the 12-mile limit. Another very interesting historical person. So anyway, got a good bird for it here in my. So here we go. What does the drink taste like? Because both my my Swedish punch and the Scotch is kind of smoky. This does have kind of a smoky smell, smoky taste to it, which may or may not be kind of off-putting. It's a good drink though, and it doesn't taste as boozy as you think. You're like thinking, man, all it's got is all this high-proof booze in it. It's like it'd be like scorching coming down, but it's actually not. It's smooth. It's drinkable. Maybe best on kind of like a fall evening when it's starting to get a little bit chilly in the evenings. This would be a really great drink. And again, you could probably build it up. It just seems to me that the building it in a rocks glass works best. So anyway, again, try that EUVS website. It's great. It's got all kind of cool stuff. Um, if you want to learn more about nuts and bolts of stuff, I'm going to highly recommend the Bar Book by Jeff Morgenthaler. It's a wonderful book. Um, there's an Elemental Mixology website. It's also got a ton of great resources for you there. And just and if you ever get a chance to read some of these old books like that, and I've got another one. I think it's written by a British guy who taught college in Iowa for Love Among the Corn or something like that, which is really good. It's This guy's writing is phenomenal. He had a way of actually like insulting people, like, man, thanks for insulting me. That was pretty good. He did like he had a way with words. Really did. Was really gifted, and he died way too young. So anyway, that's it. I hope you enjoy this. If I get more than 20 views, maybe I'll make another one. So cheers. Have a great day. Mm, that's good. Hopefully I can do the edit right. I forgot to put part of this in the video. One of the things that is great about this book that this drink is mentioned in. It's this is just like a few pages out of it. The 1927 Barflies Manual. One of the things that's really cool about this that leads you down this historical path is one, of course, all the names. Like the list of the first 500 members of the IBF, the International Barflies Association. And what's really cool is what they call the list of traps. Oh, and here's the code of the barflies, and here's like the little lapel pin that they had. I don't know if that's going to show up well or not. So some of the places that they mentioned, you wouldn't think, of course. So here's like a thing written in Paris. U.S. is in prohibition. So here are like what they call list traps, fly traps, bars, and some of them are kind of interesting because again, it takes you down the historical rabbit hole. The headquarters, Harry's New York Bar in Paris. That's probably still there, I think. Um, it mentions some in the U.S. and sometimes they're only listed as an address. Um, there's one called the Hannibal, 33 West 48th Street, New York. Maybe one of my 30 or 20 or so viewers can look one of those up. Um, here's one that's also in New York, and it's just the address 44 West 44th Street. Was there? I don't know. The Adlon Hotel Bar in Berlin. Did it survive World War II? I don't know. Is it still there? Um, Club D Constantinople in Constantinople, Istanbul. Don't know if that's still there or not. Um, So you think, man, all these international places, and like a ship here. There's a couple of ships. The SS Olympic, which wound up getting scrapped. The SS, where's that? Where's that other one? I'll find it. Here's one. Um, care of United Saving Trust Bank, Lorraine Street in Cleveland. Is there a bar there? Speakeasy type thing? I don't know, but see, that's why you you get caught up in these old books like this when you find these like little sections. Um, the Rivioli Club in New York. Um, oh, battery's running low. How much have we got? Okay, should be able to finish this up. The Granada Hotel in San Francisco. It's there, but I guess it's not a very nice place anymore. There's one mentioned in Birmingham, Alabama, for my Birmingham peeps. The Athletic Club in Birmingham, Alabama, run by V.R. Lockhart. I did look that up. There was a V.R. Lockhart in Birmingham, and he was a buyer for either Parisians or Pizits. One of the fancy department stores actually started in Birmingham. The Fort Henry Club, still there, but not a bar anymore, in Wheeling, West Virginia. So you got all these like places in Madrid, in San Francisco, in all over Europe, and you got one in Wheeling, West Virginia, and one in Birmingham, Alabama. There's one in the RMS Belgenland. That's a famous like liner. It got scrapped. Um, there's another ship in here that was taken over by the Italian Navy in World War II. Was sunk, refloated as for a troop transport. Sunk, refloated, and then sunk again, and then scrapped. And it was where did it go? Anyway, I can't find it now. So there's there's one here in Sioux City, Iowa. So you can see where you just like get like caught up. Where are these places? There's like a big hotel in Dresden from what I've been able to find, the Hotel Europacer HOF in Dresden. Did it survive the bombings in World War II? Probably not. Um, so you can see how this just takes you down the path, and you go. Are these places still here? Um, Ciro's Bar in London. I think that's still there. Um, all these places. Where are they? What about the people behind them? Just you see what I mean? So again, that's what like especially if you get the Charles Baker guide. Once you start down that one, oh my gosh, you can just it's awash in places and people to look up. But anyway, hopefully I can fit this little section in the video. Put it on the end. One of the two. You guys can figure it out. Anyway, that's it. Thanks.